Hello and welcome to another episode of Barrel Banter, the show where we gather around after a long day's work, have a sip or two of whiskey, talk about it, and anything else that's on our mind. My name is Chris.
I'm Craig.
I'm John.
You go first.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Caleb.
And there's 5 of us today.
How about that?
Ooh.
We got a whole gang.
Whole squad.
So what are we drinking today, boys?
Tincup American Whisky, based out of Colorado. This comes in at a nice 84 proof, so it's got a little extra bite than your average whiskey. And it's a little interesting because even though they're based out of Colorado, only a little bit of the mix is a Colorado single malt. The rest is an Indiana-based high rye content bourbon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
So it's a blend of...
Yeah, it's a blend.
Blended whiskey.
How about that?
But for a small distiller, it makes sense to do it that way. It's a lot more cost effective, and he's able to pass on his cost savings to the buyer.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I've always seen these on the shelves and always wanted to try it out just because of the novelty of the Tincup.
Yeah, and well, that brings an interesting point because they claim that everything into the design is very utilitarian.
Interesting.
So it's made so you can actually take it like backpacking or camping.
Makes sense.
And the bottle is what, octagonal, hexagonal, and so it's easy to strap down. It won't roll around once strapped. If you drop it on the ground, it
That's
won't
funny.
roll away
Okay.
downhill.
Wow.
And it comes with its own sipping cup, and that is
Sipping cup.
yeah, sipping. But that's all with the namesake of Tincup, and it was named that also after Tincup, Colorado, which was a historic mining town.
Huh.
And so it's in honor of the tin cups that the miners would drink their whiskey out of.
Very cool. Huh. Well, I have to admit, I know this is quite a popular whiskey and one that you can find in pretty much
Anywhere, yeah.
any grocery store. I've never had this before.
Yeah, me neither.
Neither have I.
Wow. All right, good. You're not alone.
First time for everyone.
This would
Yeah.
be my
Actually,
6th bottle.
Okay
John
then.
obviously likes it.
I do, for the price point and the fact that you don't really need to add any water or ice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at an 84 proof. I can't imagine it's gonna, need too much.
Yeah, it's just really easy to sip.
So what are you guys smelling? Lots of vanilla.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
got that like
sweetness.
right on the cork there.
A little bit fruity.
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe a little sugar.
Yeah. I think that's definitely the sweetness coming
Yeah, I
through.
can smell a little bit of the heat too. There's
Yeah.
It's
fire,
got some heat.
a little alcohol there.
yeah, I'm gonna let it breathe a little bit.
When you do that, I'm gonna sip on it. I'll let you know how it is.
Took a little sip.
So this is aged a minimum of 4 years in charred American white oak. So that's for its price point, it's actually aged for a pretty good amount of time.
That's I immediately once you said that oakiness, that's like the first thing that kind of hits me.
It hit me in a couple different stages of flavors. Like up front, there's a little.
This is pretty complex.
Yeah, there's a little. Maybe because it's a blended whiskey, it's got the different components. But for as much, nose singeing heat
Yeah.
that you have, it's not really, it's not harsh at all.
Right. What are you thinking, Kyle?
Definitely need to air it out for me.
Yeah.
But it definitely tastes sweet, like that first instance. And then smells sweet also. Might need to air it out a little bit more, but
Yeah, I'm getting it's the immediate oakiness that I'm getting, and then it's like quickly to vanilla, and then it kind of settles sweet and
It mellows
a
out
little-
really fast.
Right.
Yeah, a little water definitely opens it up, takes the
try
heat
that.
down a little.
The finish, the burn kind of lingers, but so does the sweetness,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Usually it's one or the other, cool.
yeah.
But they both kind of keep going.
Yeah.
Tin
Yeah.
cup.
Right
Kinda
about
wo-
that.
This was founded by Just Grabber. He was a
Interesting
just
name.
distilling enthusiast, you know, kind of just did his own hobby distilling since 1972. And in 2004, he decided to go, you know, legit with it and start his own distillery, which was, well, his own company, which is Tincup.
Wow.
Very cool.
I'd be really curious to try their Colorado single malt.
Oh, yeah.
That they're blending into this, see what that tastes like.
Yeah, this is delicious. And I've the water really helps it.
Yeah.
It settles it a little bit, and you can really taste more of, you know, everything that we're describing here.
Yeah, I don't usually use water or ice with this, but I'll see what you guys are talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It changes it quite a little
It does.
bit.
Yeah.
More so than anything else that I've personally tried on the show
Right.
thus far.
Almost caught a little licorice on that one.
Yeah.
A little tiny
I
bit.
definitely get more wood when I put a little water in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oak
Has
comes
that
out.
slight bitterness on the back of the tongue.
So as we transition from this delicious glass of Tincup, we're going to get into the topic of the episode. So what are we talking about today, Caleb?
Diminishing returns, and it's a pretty broad term that's used across the board, but specifically we're going to talk about in a marketing and digital marketing capacity for today. So as an example, we actually manage social media accounts for one of our clients, and part of that campaign is to run a reoccurring monthly ad that would then entice people to check out the page and like the page. And what I've noticed is we've been running the same creative and same messaging for the last 2 or 3 months now, and every week you start seeing that number drop lower and lower, right? And there's 2 factors. Number 1, the creative's the same, the copy is the same, and number 2, the audience is the same. So you're showing the same message to the same people over and over and over again. It's like driving down the highway and you see a billboard that's been there for 10 years. You don't even notice it anymore.
Right.
It's just kind of an afterthought at that point.
Shoot, if it's been there for 6 months, I don't even know.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just part of the landscape at that
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Exactly. So it stresses the importance of having fresh content and making sure that you're targeting your audience correctly with and mixing it up every once in a while instead of just bombarding with the same thing over and over. Because if they had seen it the first time, they don't engage with it, interact with it, chances are they're not going to, you know, after the 3rd, 4th time, they're just, you know, it's just wasting your money at that point.
Right. Yeah, and it's really kind of a no-brainer, especially in this day and age, and this what I like to well, not I, but commonly referred to as, you know, the 24-hour news cycle culture,
Right.
where you know, things are moving faster than we can read and faster than we can, you know, analyze, and you know, that's really been kind of trend setted by the news companies, by the, you know, the news sites and the major corporations that are doing this 24-hour, you know, they're constantly on. So they're always looking for that next scoop, and they've trained us in a way to be aware of that through all of the different platforms that we view, whether it be news or if we're just digesting content for entertainment purposes. So when, you know, you're scrolling through your feed and you see the same thing twice in a row, a couple times throughout the same week, you
Just going right by.
exactly, you don't pay attention to it anymore. You've seen it. So
And if it gets bad enough in social media, for instance, you may unfollow.
Yeah.
oh, absolutely,
Right, yeah.
yeah, and that's a good point, because it's not only to the point where your strategy, your campaign can be ineffective. It's to the point where it can be damaging to your brand. It could
Correct.
be damaging to the campaign that you're trying to push, whatever that may be. So it's important to know that from a ground level. So whatever campaign you're getting ready to launch or you're coming up with concepts for, you got to be aware of that, and you can't just kind of create on a one note. You know,
Right.
you have to think of the longevity of it, and you have to think of
Yeah.
how often are you wanting people to view this? How often are you wanting to push this same campaign out to viewers, and just kind of craft it from the ground up. But as we wrap this up, what are you guys thinking of Tincup now that we've sipped on it for a couple minutes?
How many barrels do you rate it?
Yeah. Caleb?
Well, you know what? It's a good one, but you know, it's not my favorite. I would have it if it's around, but I wouldn't say I would go out and buy myself a bottle. I'll give it like a 3, just because it's pretty interesting with the complexity of the different stages you kind of go through. But it's not my preferred type of whiskey or bourbon, personally. So 3 out of 5 for me.
All right.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Initially, first
We're gonna
sip
have
it
to
was just
reevaluate.
all burn for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Just-
And once I let it air out and put a little bit of water in, got a little bit better, or I guess a lot better. And you got those sweetness notes for me, and I will also give 3 barrels.
Okay. So I'm learning something about myself as we've shot these episodes that I like the complexity, and this has a lot of it. You know, it kind of goes, for me personally, it goes through stages throughout your sip. So for me, I'm going to say this is a solid 4 barrels for me.
I'd have to go about a 3.5. I think it's not quite as complex, and it's not quite as mellow as some of the other ones we've had.
Right.
But it does have some good flavors to it.
I'm gonna have to go with 4. I'm a little biased, having gone through so much of it, but I've just found I can drink this all year long. You know, if it's summer, my son's out in the kiddie pool, I throw an ice cube in it, and I'll just go hang out there. I don't feel like I have to mix anything with it. I like it. You know, I like the heat of it in the winter, and they have really solid branding, which I'm a sucker for. So,
Naturally.
4.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think it's unanimous. We all enjoy it.
Yeah.
And thanks for joining us for another episode of Barrel Banter.
One note, today's Kyle's birthday, so
Happy birthday.
happy birthday,
Happy
Kyle.
birthday.
Kyle.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.